Let's talk about classic watercolor struggles. And for me, it's that transition from that free flow abstract state to looking at the reference photo. And that's exactly where my perfectionism trap sets in. So if you're like me and you're looking at that beautiful photograph, it has a wonderful sense of color and composition, but your head, you've got this internal battle going on. And that is a pain point I think a lot of us have. So today we're going to focus on the overpainting trap and how to maintain that spring fever energy even when you're following a photo. Let's get into it. Hi, I am Kellie Chasse. I love sharing my watercolor techniques to help you paint with more confidence and less stress. You can join our creative community. You get a 7-day free trial to explore over 2 years worth of ad-free content, and it includes new weekly tutorials and my popular 5-minute live Fridays. So whether you're a beginner or a seasoned pro, there is a seat for you at my table. We hope you join and stick around. Well, good morning, my art peeps. So it happens every year. The second the sun stays out a little longer, I get this massive case of spring fever. I don't know why, but for me, that always means one thing, and that's painting flowers. But here is my truth. I struggle with florals. I absolutely love the idea of free flow florals, abstract blooms, but the moment I pull up a reference photo, my perfectionism side of my brain takes over. So, do you ever start counting the petals, obsessing over the edges, the shadows, and then before you know it, you've overpainted the life out of them, right? If you've looked at your watercolors and thought, well, it was better 10 minutes ago, then this video is for you. So today we're painting these roses, lilies, some other little flowers that were for my birthday. And we're going to fight over that painting urge together. And I did this darn thing 3 or 4 times just to try to get it right. I knew where I was going wrong every time. So here's the reference photo. And I think the first mistake that we can make is treating a reference photo like a set of rules, right? It's not a map, it's a suggestion. So I am going to start with a very light, loose pencil sketch. I'm not going to draw every little vein in those leaves. I'm just making the territory, for a better word. So I have a central rose here. I really struggled on the rose. And so instead of a circle, I'm just looking at the gesture of it. So my goal isn't to replicate the photo. Well, it was initially, and then I let that go. But it is to capture the spring fever feeling that I have every time I look at these beautiful flowers that I got for my birthday. They're special, and that's what I want to convey. I don't need a photograph of it. I just need to capture the feeling. So for this painting, I'm using my cup of clip paper. I have my Meeden #2 brush, and I'm just starting in with some of those little areas, dropping in some pinks and some light grays for those lilies. I'm barely touching them. I'm pretty much just doing a few tiny strokes, again, just to get the paint down, get in and get out. That is my plan. And then I'm starting on the rose. Now we're in the danger zone because this is when my head starts to say the petals are looking a bit flat. Shouldn't they be darker? Am I adding enough color in here? And I started out pretty good. Like if I had left it alone right here, I probably would have been in pretty good shape. And so this was my very first one that I did, by the way. And so I thought I'd share this with you. And I will show you my other ones in a second. So this is a great trick, I think, for beginners, is to let your eyes fill in those shapes. You don't have to paint every single thing. So if your flowers feel a little bit messy at the end, sometimes you can actually carve out areas by putting in a little bit of darker values around it. So if you notice here, I'm not painting a perfect outline of my flowers. I'm just letting everything blend into that white at this point. And I do end up putting in a background for this one, but I almost liked it better initially when I left it very light and very loose. Something else that can help if you move around your painting. So now I have left those flowers alone. I'm going to just let them sit for a little bit. Now I'm going into adding some of the green, the leaf shapes. Notice how I'm changing up my colors in my green so they're not all the same. And again, very simple at this point. Starting simple helps. And if you can kind of take breaks and let your eye rest, I think it helps. It helped me definitely. So now I'm going back in and I'm going to finish up the flower by giving it a little bit of details. I don't want this to die from too many strokes, so I am going to add the little dark areas, little freckles in the lilies. So they're tiny details, but I think it gives the eye enough information to finish off the flower without finishing it, if you know what I mean. You don't even need to paint every little stamen in there. But if you do feel the urge to fix a spot, don't. In watercolor, I think mistakes left alone kind of look like an intentional artistic choices a lot of times. And a mistake that has been scrubbed, which I did with a rose, because you can see I've started to add more things to it. It looks like a mess, and that's exactly what happened to me. So I should have put my brush down, stopped working on the rose, and just taken a break at this point because everything was looking pretty good. Now, I didn't mind adding a couple of darker values to the greens, but again, it looked good before because I had a little bit more lighter areas, and now I'm going in. See, this is where I'm going to make a mess. I'm lifting out some of those colors. Now, sometimes you can fix it. Again, I added some deeper pinks, and it was looking okay. I will say it is a challenge to walk away from your painting. And it still happens to me 20 years later, even with my landscapes. Sometimes I overdo it. And I noticed it the most, which is really interesting, when I am filming and I'm coming back to do edits for you guys. That's when I go, oh, why didn't I stop? It looked fine right there. Like, why did I keep going? And I think even filming your work sometimes can help you make some of those decisions, or waiting until the next day, giving yourself a chance to really look at it with fresh eyes. Sometimes when we're in it, we don't see it. It's like the forest through the trees, right? So this is an example of another one that I did afterward. I wet the paper. I was extremely loose with this one. I went in with very soft colors initially, and I didn't fill it all in. I took my time a little bit more with this one. I'm picking up the flower. I'm looking at it. Did I get it right? No, it's not perfect, but it gives you enough information in that floral and enough different values with that flower to make it look pretty real without it being real, if you know what I mean. So I think this is kind of that middle ground where I reached the happy place where it's sort of loose, but it has enough details where my eye is going to fill in the rest of it. So I would love to know in the comments down below, what flowers give you the hardest time, or is it just flowers in general? And I want to mention that because I am still struggling, still finding my little space in the floral world, I did do a 7-day loose floral course. I will link that down below for you. I began with those loose florals, the different shapes, the different practice sessions that I did personally. But at this point, I am really happy with these looser versions. I think they are so much fun to do, and it fits my personality because I like to paint fast and I don't like to get bogged down into all those little details unless I'm doing a pet portrait. Is this a perfect botanical replica? Nope. But does it feel like spring? Absolutely. So floral are hard just because they're so organic and delicate, and our brain wants that symmetrical look and stiffness. And my challenge to you this week is to pick a reference photo, look at it for 1 minute, and then turn it over. Paint from memory the photo rather than the photo itself, and you might find your free flow comes back much easier and faster that way. Thanks for spending a bit of your morning with me. Keep trying, keep painting, and I'll see you in the next one. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you'll get notified for the next one. Have a great week. Thanks so much for spending time with me today, and a special thank you to my YouTube membership supporters. Your support also means a lot, helps me keep creating and sharing more art with you. And as a YouTube member, paid member, you get early access to all my YouTube videos before they're released. If you have been thinking about it, we would love to have you join our community for less than a cup of coffee a month.